Okay, so what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about attachment. You've watched some videos about it, but I just want to go over some facts and some information about it because it's something that's important. Attachment is a two-way process. That's the first thing it talks about, through which children and their parent or a primary caregiver form emotional bonds with each other. Okay, so in other words, it's the interaction between the two. Okay, it's not a one-way process, it's a two-way process. Much like all social things, there are more people involved than just one. So that's an important thing to remember about it. The child plays a role in it, the primary caregiver plays a role in it. There are two components of attachment. One, the child's need for protection and comfort. Two, the parent's giving of care in response to those needs. So the child has a need, and the parent is responding to that need. And how the child lets the parent know and how the parent responds to that need is what creates this idea of attachment. It's what creates attachment in human beings. So a baby who learns to feel loved and attached to his or her primary caregiver has brain connections, that are structured for later success. So what are we talking about here? What this is telling you clearly is that early successful attachment sets up the stage for later successful social relationships and being able to develop attachments and bonds to other people. Okay? Doesn't mean that if your attachments are problematic early in life, you're guaranteed to not have success, but there is a correlation, a direct relationship between what happens early on and what happens later in life in regards to attachments. So that's very important to remember. Now, secure attachment, which is the kind of attachment that is ideal, takes place when a caregiver is sensitive to a baby's needs and meets those needs consistently. Okay, so that's very important. It is a consistent approach over time. And a baby who develops a sense of trust in his caregivers feels good about himself and feels safe to explore the world. So, consistently meeting the child's needs, okay, helps the baby develop a sense of trust in the caregiver. Now he's going to generalize that sense of trust over time. Also starts to work on positive sense of self-esteem and a feeling of security and safety in the world. These are things that someone needs to be able to be successful. Trust, positive sense of who you are, feeling of security and safety so that you can go out and deal with all those future things that are unknown that you're going to have to deal with and face. So it's pretty fundamental. When parents give babies love and consistency, they not only gain a sense of security, but also the confidence to explore their world and to create relationships with others. Okay? So again, notice how consistency is in there. That is a very important, consistent approach. When the approach is not consistent, then you do not get secure attachment. Because the baby doesn't know what to expect, the child doesn't know what to expect, and that lack of predictability is problematic in the development of attachment. And it talks about confidence and the ability to create relationships and having long-lasting effects. Very important things. Okay, so some key facts. Bowlby and Ainsworth are names you'll hear. And really I want to go to the third fact, this fact right here, that Bowlby believed, and they came up with this, is that babies express innate signals, things that make sense, crying, smiling, babbling, clinging, and that this is the way they communicate their needs to their parents, and the parents then fulfill those needs. consistently, and that creates attachment. So baby gives off communication signals as listed, and parents fulfill those needs, and they create attachment. So that's an important fact to remember. All right, so there are 4 characteristics Bowlby talks about in attachment that you probably have read about in your book, and you'll see in these videos. Proximity maintenance, desire to be near the parent or the primary care provider, the key attachment figure. Safe haven, the return to an attachment figure when afraid or threatened. Okay, so sort of someone you can sort of have near you that is kind of is your protector. Secure base is the source of security, and really knowing where that secure base is and having it allows you to sort of explore and to do new things. And separation distress, which is the anxiety that occurs in the absence of the attachment figure. Okay, so when the attachment figure is not there, not present, and the baby is in a situation that they can't see them, then there's anxiety that develops because they don't have their secure base or safe haven at that point in time. Okay, so that's basically the information I wanted to give you. One other thing I wanted to mention, and I've seen students sort of misunderstand this in the past, and that's this idea that, I had a secure attachment with my mother and a not secure attachment with my father, or different attachments. There's really one set of attachments that we develop. So in other words, it's a whole. The person is a whole. You have different relationships with different people, but it's a whole. Attachment is a kind of part of the whole person. So in other words, if someone was giving you consistent support and love and fulfilling and meeting those needs, then you will develop secure attachment that you can extend out to others. And there are other people who you develop attachments with in your life, but you have to look at your primary caregiver. That's the important thing to remember. And you need to think about what this means going forward. That becomes important too. But this is just a quick review of the idea of attachment. So that's that.